Phantom, maybe this could be a mission between me and you to find out where the hell did that founder go so we can get in touch with them.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out that what happened with the founder.
His name is Tokyo Saints.
Like the Galaxy owner founder.
Yeah, his name's Tokyo Saints, but I don't think he's around.
But I didn't found their Twitter socials like on the Twitter.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll send you the link later. But anyways, with that all aside, we will get started. So I think, yeah, and just a bit of context for the others there. I was speaking with Phantom and Streck earlier on the VC to see how we can further drive value to the community. And one of the ideas that was being fostered around was, for those that remember, I personally don't, I didn't come across the tech before, but Galaxy.co. And Phantom, I think you would describe it as a portfolio page, people to create and display their talent, skills, experience through a portfolio. Very easy to use and fun to use. Nothing new, of course, but something that I love to integrate into our first suite of apps for Surgence. So that's going to be the mission for me and you, Phantom, to go on that outreach blast to figure out who the hell is Tokyo Saint. Get to the bottom of that. Okay, cool. So I think in this particular session first, we're going to go through your prototypical Web3 gig style roles. You have your professional based roles that you'll typically find on LinkedIn and other Web3 job searches. But then for a lot of the people here in the Web3, in the Surgence community as well, and the career pursuits that they're on, we're going to go over some of the more prototypical roles so people can actually understand in detail what each role entails. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share a screen, which will just provide talking points for us as we can break into the details of these roles that we'll go through. So just give me a second whilst I share my screen. Okay. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone's having a good day. So we're going to go through a couple of the Web3 prototypical roles that also are coming through the network of Surgence opportunities. So with our partnerships with different recruitment agencies in the Web3, as well as recruitment platforms, and all those jobs that are coming in through the job board or through those announcements that we have, they typically revolve around those categories of roles, including marketing, community, and collaborations. Then there's this underlying notion of strategy as well. Others would call it an advisor, but typically the person that is helping lay down the fundamentals of the project, how it develops over time, and all the nuances within that. So what we're going to do is we'll have like a roundtable discussion of each of them. That way, everyone here can come away with a thorough understanding of what each role entails. Beautiful. And Mia, are you able to put up the daily reminder?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So with marketing, I just want to get a show of hands first. Who here in the Discord VC at the moment is working in a marketing focused role? It's a very broad term and there's many avenues that you can specialize within for marketing. But just generally speaking, you can just say something in the VC chat, or you could just open your microphone and speak. But who here is working in a marketing based role in Web3 at the moment? I want to break in, says Tej, 100%. Become hireable, Yajonka. Yeah, that's the goal, man. You hang out more here. You build your skills, you build your network, understand the space a bit more, get access to opportunities, and then increase your employment prospects. Hey, Neon Legend, how are you, man? Good to see you. I've been working with a top tier gaming project to help them build their marketing plan. Love that. And we can definitely catch up with that in the future. Interested in social media management. Beautiful. So there's many different avenues, and there's going to be a bunch of terms that come to your mind when you think about marketing. There's like your social media marketers. There might be paid ad marketers doing SEO as well. There might be content strategists, brand marketers, But within the Web3 space, when I catch up with a lot of marketers out there, especially working on those maybe GameFi projects or other Web3 companies, I tend to see that we have a concurrent theme of brand strategists. So within the marketing role, you have to think about how you can craft your brand to stand out in this overly competitive and saturated market of participants, right? So the notion of the Web3 space is that attention is so fluid and attention is so competitive and scarce as well. And as a brand, you have to do many things to capture attention. As a marketer, you have to create a compelling brand identity and messaging that resonates with that target audience you seek. And you create that surface level vein attention that comes to your mind. You're showing people what you're about, communicating the feels and values of your brand and the problems that you're out there to solve. And then maybe for a community manager, you're doing something else to create a successful brand. You're delivering intimate experiences, personal relationships, realizing value with these members once they're settled into your platform. So then they start to become an advocate for your brand, right? So within the marketing perspective and your domain of marketing, when you're thinking about brand strategy, you're thinking about the identity of your brand, the messaging that you're going to use. And if you remember from the previous session that we were running, your messaging and your identity comes down to the tone of voice, the language that you use, the colors, the logo. And all of these things should be functions of the understanding you have of the audience that you're trying to serve. What do they need? What do they like? What do you think they would resonate with? So brand strategy is a big one for a marketer. The other one is content strategy too. So based on who you are and what you're providing, how can you craft an effective content strategy that pushes your unique selling propositions, that pushes your value to your audience and connects with them? Because you're using the right language and tone and you've clearly defined the right set of USPs that connect with your audience. Then you have this interesting element of NFT marketing where you're running on a short-term, mid-term time frame of, let's say, pre-mint launch to mint. So then there's that element of when do you play your cards? What value do you think deserve that right of being a card, and when do you play it throughout that timeline you have until mint? When do you release one utility or some sort of bullish fact about your project? When do you release another? Do you have to time that up with other initiatives that are happening in the community team? Then there's also growth marketing. Now, growth marketing is talking about, okay, what other things are you doing around the site? So you've got your brand in place, your content strategy in place. But with growth marketing, we're talking about what tangible steps you're taking to grow the audience and the community. Generally, those metrics that we care about, the audience engagement, the Discord conversions or the platform conversions, whatever they are, what are you doing to take those actionable steps to grow your brand? Now, let's say, for example, Shu was talking about the GameFi projects he works with. What partnerships are you setting up with launchers to showcase your game on their front page? What partnerships are you setting up with DAOs and guilds, which some are still relatively very alive and active, to create a meaningful interaction between the two? Maybe perhaps your game is a sci-fi MMORPG. Perhaps you have a product that is very similar in Web 2. So what kind of guerrilla marketing tactics are you going to use to get those users over into your Web3 brand? Perhaps you're going into their Reddit forums, existing Discord communities. Perhaps you're targeting advertisements to them, letting the algorithm take it through TikTok and Instagram with high quality assets of your video there. You might be also using innovative mission designs. You could create your own custom missions landing page with your developer, and people would be completing an experience and being rewarded with ownership of an asset, whether it's a soulbound token, supporting earlier, something that pieces in to that broader user journey. Because that also nicely leads into the user journey. And as a marketer, you're probably going to be working closely with the community manager and the lead team to think about that user journey that you're going to be constructing to help your community members trickle through that funnel from the top all the way to the bottom, whether you define the bottom as becoming an advocate or transacting and purchasing an asset from you. So when they're at the top, they're simply seeing your Twitter and hearing from your brand for the first time, maybe from their network as well. Then they might be curious, interested. They'd want to discover more about your brand. They come into your platform, your website, your Discord. Then what kind of user journey have you set up to keep them there, retained, engaged? Is there incentives? How is that structured? Do they have to complete fun challenges? What values and qualities do they have to emulate? How can you make that into a clear, ever evolving user journey that keeps them engaged and happy, feel like they're getting valued week on week? So that's on the strategy side. Then on the operation side, you have your social media management. So you're posting and you're managing your Twitter page every day. Perhaps you're looking at your comments, your replies, your messages, just keeping on top of that as well for opportunities and building up a social media community too. AMAs and mega spaces. So you might be working closely with the collaborations team to find amazing KOLs out there, founders, companies to bring together people for a mega space. Who here knows Mataria Genesis? Who's seen them on the timeline? Me, I do. Yeah, they're doing a great job at that. So the marketer there has recognized the value that can be unlocked from brand association, building trust and respect through using KOL's brands and tapping into that capital there. Like, let's say, for instance, Shiv. You'll see Shiv there often. You'll see Knox there often. You'll see other people there often on those mega spaces that they're putting together. The founder of Mintify. So mega spaces is also a great strategy if you have the right connections to do so. So hopefully that also starts to plant that seed in your mind that in any role that you pursue, always having a network and great friends in the space that can do favors for you is always going to bring large benefits to you. They're killing it lately, 100% Haxon. Their user journey is really interesting actually too. Does anyone know what their user journey is here? It's exciting, it's unique. If someone can explain it to me on this VC, that'd be crazy. I'll give whatever we can give me. Haxon is typing. Let's see what Haxon says. I want to know. Okay. So pretty much when people join, they can earn mana through performing simple tasks. So there's this mana element to it, right? But then also there's another avenue, and this is like the key flagship user journey that they push, which is the collection of charms. And each week, 10 City, you know. Okay. So each week a charm quest opens up, whether it's a flame charm or whatever. And within that, there might be a specific set of challenges that you have to do. It could be something as simple as a response to a question they pose, or it could be a sort of a riddle, a challenge, a game, whatever it is. The one amazing thing about the fact that a quest opens up each week is that they keep building up anticipation for the new week, and people always have something to look forward to. So it adds that element of an ever evolving user journey. People don't get bored from day one because all the cards are out. Now, the charms might be a bit too difficult for people to get as well. Let's say, for example, there's a specific charm that people don't like. The task to get that is a bit too frictionful. So they also allow people to buy these things called meter packs. Now, with the mana that you collect from basic tasks or attending events, whatever it is, right? These small, minute things that you do to contribute to the community, you accumulate mana and you can spend that on meter packs. And it's like opening a Pokemon card pack. You don't know what you're going to get in there, but it's going to surprise you. And then you can get charms through there and some other items too. So it brings in that real fun, addictive element of gambling. Yeah, they're 100%. Their overall Discord experience can be overwhelming, but the idea and the concept that they pursued was amazing. Definitely a lot of opportunities to create efficiencies in there. But yeah, and then once you collect those charms and get to the end, you get the allow list, and then there might be some future things that you can do, such as getting on the council or the board of members there, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, so there's that user journey part, and the reason why I love Metaria and why you should all go there and just look at it through the lens of a builder, look at it critically and try and take notes and pay attention to the nuances of the strategy that they use, because through the process of their journey, they're creating advocates. It's an enlightening, empowering, fun experience that they go through. It's memorable, it's novel, it's unique. It doesn't compare to many other projects out there, and people love being fed fresh experiences in the space. Now, also there is a bit of a cheat code. Metaria is backed by like a huge conglomerate in Asia, so there's a huge incentive for members to try and get into that whitelist as well. So yeah, that incentive has to be there. Yeah, 100% Axon, 100%. A lot of metrics that can be used for. Oh, sorry, wait. Just before I jump to the metrics, then you have copywriting. So blogs, articles, white papers, whatever you need to help the team communicate their ideas to the audience. And then publications as well, whether you're going to be publicating on Forbes or IGN, depending on where your project is and which kind of audience you're trying to connect with. Then yeah, you have your key metrics of audience engagement, conversions into Discord, and some other things that will come around dependent on other responsibilities that you have in your role. Now, if you're looking to break into marketing, the best thing that I would say is number one, pick up a playbook from HubSpot or somewhere where you can learn the basics of a marketing plan, and also attend the Surgence events where we will be going through the basics of a marketing plan too. Number two is make sure to connect with agency founders out there and marketers. There's tons in the Surgeons Discord and tons outside of the Discord too. Make an effort to connect with them. Try and think of creative ways where you can build a relationship there, whether it's offering valuable insights that you've picked up, templates that you've made in Notion, whatever it is, just get to them. And then hopefully, the third most important one that I find as well is pick a project that you like out there, and then try create a marketing plan around it too. Or create a fake dummy project, some fake stats about the real company behind it, whatever it is. Let's say, for example, you're pretending that Rilakkuma is coming into the Web3 space. How would you frame the Rilakkuma project in the Web3 space? What would the brand positioning look like? The brand messaging? How would you create a content strategy around it? The tone of voice, language, the user journey, maybe create some mock utilities up for that. If you can do that and then put that against a portfolio, that would be crazy. Get feedback and then use that as part of your application for jobs too. Okay, 1 second. Let me just open up the chat again. Yeah, it does sound like a solid way potential to get people in. Yeah, 100%. The bakery has some kind of similar thing. Yeah, I actually am a bit unfamiliar with a bakery, so I would love for you to share what they did. So special. Loads of founders who would be willing for you to try marketing strategies too. 100% Nessie. Your ability to get experience on the job is very easy if you can be proactive and take those steps to craft a marketing plan for a founder that you know, or for a project that you love and you respect. Feel like they're willing to give you an opportunity. I created a Notion for a gaming project recently. I would like if I can get some of your views on it. 100%. You know, I'm a Notion addict, Tube. We have a Notion running for one of our clients, and the client is Space Nation. Myself and Yumi I are working on that one, and the Notion is looking pristine. So if you guys come to our event, actually, when is the event? What day is it? Get your first. No. If you come to my event on Friday, I'll show you a glimpse of that too. I'll create a template that you can take away. But I mean, this Friday, we're talking about nailing your USP and ICP. And then next week, we're going to be doing a marketing plan fundamentals where I will literally put in hours to put together a Notion template and framework for you to build your marketing strategies around. So if you don't come to that, you're fading, and I can't help you. Free value, free value. Someone hating me, 100%. Nessie's on point. And look, to be honest, if someone has been putting effort into their professional development as a marketer day in, day out, you're doing things like going to HubSpot, picking up those playbooks, learning on YouTube, doing practice projects, getting feedback from marketers and whatever. And you reach out to Mia, and Mia is a founder of an NFT project that you like, and you come to her and say, hey, I've written five Twitter posts that you could use for your project. I believe that you should consider this language, tone of voice, these optics that I'm using to prepare these content pieces because they better fit your brand and achieve these three objectives that I believe are very important. Call to actions, engagement, narrative development, tactfully positioning your utilities, etc. The marketer, or like the founder, would see that and absolutely jaw dropped, would say, holy shit, where have you been? Would either consider you for an immediate paid job, probably get on a call, or remember you for future projects and opportunities. And once you build your muscle for copywriting and story development, these things can be done in 30 minutes max. You could just look at a project, quickly read through the white papers, use ChatGPT to spit out a summary of the company to you, right, as well. And then write out a few tweets, create a maybe like a slide deck or some sort of portfolio to send over to the founder or employer, and then have you considered for the marketing position. But yeah, the thing is, especially with this, is that you have to be very smart with the way that you target projects and decide to spend your time with. Because if you just target some shitty old NFT project with no funding behind it, it's probably going to be a waste of time. Unless you're looking for unpaid experience, it's going to be a waste of time, right? You need to find ways yourself to find those funded projects, those recently freshly funded gaming projects out there that have come to market with founders that don't know what they're doing and they're looking for team members. Or projects that have recently minted out now looking to execute the phase 2 of their plans, etc. Yeah, I've heard. The bakery basically does random number generation based games in Discord to earn butter. For the first mint, people used the butter they collected to mint. It was free for people who are active in Discord. Butter can now also be used to enter raffles for whitelist spots or bid on a guaranteed spot. Next to that, they also distribute Cronker bars, one per day for each baker asset held. You can choose to sell these bars for butter to other community members or open one for a chance of an NFT from the bakery vault. That's really cool. Okay, I appreciate it. I don't have to read it now. No, it's all good, man. Okay. Anyone, just before I move on to community, does anyone have any further questions about marketing?
I would say the butter is expensive these days. So if you can get it
The
free,
the which one?
the butter, yes,
The
the butter.
Yeah. Let's see. And then okay, so just before we move on, say something in the chat if you're looking to actually specialize in marketing. I'm saying specialize, like obsess with marketing, marketing only. I'm not talking about you're gonna obsess over marketing, community, moderation, collaboration, nah, you're gonna obsess over marketing. If you actually think that is your calling, your ikigai, your reason for being. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. By the way, for those people that don't know what they want to do in the space, I recommend searching up Ikigai and using that formula there. I used it back in university to find out what kind of role would suit me. It's just a very simple framework of drawing 4 circles. Your like what you're good at, what you love, what the world needs, and then what businesses what customers would pay for, then as you write down the things in each of these segments, you will have a natural intersection. And that could reveal or expose that role that you should probably lean into, develop yourself in, and grow. Marketing is definitely it. Where's my oi, 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 oi? Nujonka. So you love the retention part. So, okay, yeah, I love that as well. That's 100% what I think. It's so important that communities have retention strategies set up. And actually, Nujonka, I would say that projects more than often might have their onboarding part set up right, but they have no idea how to retain their audience. Feel free to push back on here, people, but I 100% think that retention is far harder than just acquisition. Yeah, because often when we look at these companies out there, they think that selling out an NFT collection, raising money, doing whatever, selling products is all about hitting as many users as possible and hyping people up. But as we all have seen and know, getting engagement is easy. But finding that target audience, bringing them in, and then creating super users or believers and retain people out of that, that's where the fucking meat and potatoes of value is, but also the difficulty is. It's the effort of the community manager, the core team, everyone to work together to make that happen. Okay. Yeah, 100%. By the way, people, you should check out the conversation in the events VC. It's fire. It's fire. All right, everyone. Who here is a specialist in community management or moderation? Say sug me if that is you. So maybe we didn't have too many people looking to specialize in marketing, but look at all the community managers coming out. Hey, sug me. Come out wherever you are. Expert, I don't know, but sug me. No, expert. It doesn't. You don't have to be an expert. It's more so those people that are looking to specialize in it. You know, this is your calling. You're looking to go deeper and get better. Okay. All right. So I'm looking for people's input for sure. I specialize by accident in it, but you love it. You love it. You're not coming back from it. Okay. It's beautiful because we actually have a couple of community managers in the VC that we've recently placed on roles that I could tap onto for some feedback unless they run away. But anyway, so I would break it up again into strategy and operations. Um, there's the list goes way beyond this, but I've just put down at a high level the things that some of y'all are familiar with, but I'm going to go into the nuances by voice as well. Najanka touched on a very important topic that the community manager should obsess with, and that is retention. Now, when you work with employers and team members coming in from Web2 or whatever, they'll often push onto you as a community manager a couple of metrics, right? Growth might happen to you. You might be responsible for the growth of your community because there are internal mechanics that you could use to grow the size of your community through referrals, word of mouth, whatever it is. But more importantly is engagement. So you engaging your audience. What does the engagement look like? Retention. For those members, new members joining in, how many of them are staying in after a week, after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks? And advocacy. Okay, so people are retaining, are staying around in your community, but they're actually believing in you. Do they value you and are they advocating for you? Do they feel empowered from you? Therefore, they want to speak about you to their team, to their network. Now, retention, retention is an interesting one. And actually, metrics as a whole on the community side is really interesting because As a community manager, you're strategizing week on week ways to improve the community platform, whether it's to engage new members. Because if engagement is low, what does that mean? Perhaps you're not offering enough value or fun experiences to create conversation, or you're not creating structured ways for the team and the community to connect and build relationships so that they return and chat with them. Perhaps the announcements and the communication strategy doesn't inspire people in the Discord to stay around. It doesn't feel like there's momentum there. There's something for them to gain. But then what you can do is, let's say, for example, the engagement or retention or advocacy metrics are down 1 week. As a community manager, you strategize a sort of event or a solution to solve for that metric. Then next week, you can see exactly what your retention metrics are for those new members that joined last week, and they can improve or decrease. And the beautiful thing about Discord is that there are very exhaustive statistics, metrics, analysis platforms out there like StatBot or Blaze that can get you this data that you need. Twitter is great, but the thing about Twitter is that the data is so blurred by bots. But the beautiful thing about Discord is that unless you're absolutely fucking your Discord server up with bots, a lot of them would be captured at the verification gate. And then you have a role that is really pertaining to the real members only. Then you could use that as a segment to analyze obsessively with, right? So when we're talking about community management, we've got strategy and operations. With strategy, you're all about user journey. How can you make the community experience as enjoyable, as streamlined, as not overwhelming, but pleasantly appeasing to the members that are coming in? Are the members being brought in from a start point and being fed structured interactions and experiences and value throughout the paths to the endpoint, which might be, let's say, for example, endpoint number 1 is mint date. And how do we keep those members retained in that journey all the way until mint? So then you start to define your community strategy out of this. How do we grow the community? What do we do to engage with them? Do we run weekly events? Do we have our town halls? What kind of whitelist mechanic are we going to be using to allocate the whitelists out to our community members? How are we going to retain our audience and create advocates? What's the guidelines for the team? How should the team operate with the community and communicate with them? How often should the team be getting in VC? How often? Et cetera, et cetera. Then you'll also have the communication strategy, which I stress so much for our clients. A lot of projects out there, and I'm sure that you could pick any random project on the left toolbar and you can go to their announcements and you would tell yourself, holy shit, they don't know how to use their announcement channel, their communications channel well at all. They might be announcing small things like event winners, challenges that are live for the day, and all these different small nuanced community events. When realistically, your communications channel should always be used as an opportunity to onboard people into your project mission, the brand, inspire people, make them feel the energy, the momentum, the movement of the project. It should be your chance to tell a story, put emotions into it. That's what communication strategy is about. And without a good communication strategy, everything else will fall apart. Likewise, without a good community strategy, everything else will fall apart as well. So the entire community system requires everything to work harmoniously together. But I can't stress enough how good and how much value a great communication strategies can bring around. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, what is the narrative and the story to be told? What are the USPs? How do we drip feed it and announce it over time? How do we create the feeling of momentum? Do we have the founder announcing it and we ghostwrite for them? Because I don't think we should be posting announcements from a random company account. We should announce it straight from the founder to bring the community closer to them, to make them feel like it's a founder's notes to the community, like they're having a two-way conversation. Anyway, so then we have everything on the operations side. So then those announcements and communications you put out, the events and challenges that you run, how we manage the server day in, day out, and the chat moderation too. Then there's always a few other things there that we need to focus on as a community team. So I want to ask, there's so many community managers discussing in the event VC right now. What are like what's that thing that you are aware of that you think not many other community managers or projects are aware of that make up a good community? What's that thing that people don't do well in the space right now that you think should be done more? Nessie said, VC activity of the team critical. VCs. I'm a community manager in 2 places, but challenges exist. 100%. Let me tell you one thing. Being a community manager for a project where the founding team is barely present is the most difficult job you can have. If you are a community manager of a project where the founder is obsessed with the community every day, that's a fucking easy job. But if you're doing community management for a project where the founder just barely talks to you, it's just in the background somewhere doing something, holy fuck, good luck. Good luck. Yeah, 100% Njonka. Like community management for a project like Lost Realms with Saint, so fucking good. It's so easy, so fun. Like every day, it feels like you're working with a team that is equally invested. Everyone's putting their minds together every single day. No, you don't feel alone, right, in that journey. But yeah, I've worked on plenty of projects, or I've heard plenty of experiences from my members of community managers that are working on projects where the founders are just in the background. They never hear from them, and they expect the world from the community manager. When in fact, for a successful project, community management strategy too, you need the founder to be present. Because the project is essentially a representation of that founder's vision. Sure, people can embody that, but the ones that communicate it most effectively and spread that energy is always going to be the founder. The community manager can do it too. Everyone else can, but that founder is so critical to it. I guess a lot of founders that enter the space don't understand that. But the nature of the space is that we're in a community-based project, community-based market. Success really depends on your ability to activate, engage, and build trust with the community. And if you can't do that, especially as a founder, then there's no success to be had. Mm-hmm. 100%. So many good points to the events VC chat. Holy shit. I'm telling you, there needs to be a chat GPT Discord bot integration where we could just ask it, hey, can you summarize all the key points being mentioned in the events VC right now? Be very helpful. You need a summary bot. Yeah, 100%. Someone create if someone copies all the text in the event VC that just went on there after the event and creates a summary, I'll get you something. I'll get you something. Let me try. Okay, Urson, you're on it. If you can get it to me after the event, I love you forever. I mean, I already love you forever, but yeah, okay. Yeah, Tom chat logs into chat. Is it? Oh, yeah, because I'm on the free version, so there's like a character limit because I'm a noob. But for me, but I don't have GPT-4 yet. I really want to get it though. Oh, also with community, right? And I want to pick the brains of all the community managers out there. 2 ways to approach it: slow, sustainable, start from zero, build your way up, play the +1 game, onboard 1 member at a time. Well, not literally 1 member at a time, but you're playing that slow, quality, intimate game. But then there's projects out there that play the big bang game. You know, you're building hype on Twitter and then you open the floodgates and thousands of people rush in. What game do you guys prefer?
I'll share my point of view.
Mm,
I really love the first approach. It really depends on what type of project you're building, right? If you're just building a really
mm,
hype project and kind of mint and get the fuck out, then yeah,
mm,
bring
mm.
on all these people at once. But for me, we are a long-term project, and I want to get to know every single member that joins into Surgence and get them familiar with them. So I'm
Yeah,
all for being the first option.
yeah. Love that. Love that. I agree with you there that comes down to the project goals for sure. The people that mostly do that second option are probably not really community oriented. I'm going to say that. They're mostly probably focused on optimizing for a sellout with hype. But like if you're really trying to build a genuine sustainable community, it's that slow and steady approach. But that being said, the challenges that you have with that slow and steady approach is that you have to figure out ways that you can keep people engaged for a long period of time, because the benefits of that latter approach is that maybe you have 4 or 5 weeks where you can just drill in so much new experience and fun things that people can do throughout those weeks. But when you're building for months, you got to think about, okay, fundamentally, what is the value or the mission of our community platform, and how do we make sure that this is ever valuable, right? And what does that look like? What does a week in the Discord look like? And does that change every week? How does it change? I was actually catching up with a project not too long ago, and they launched their Discord. And the funny thing is that they were playing that slow and steady approach, yet they put all their cards on the table as well. They had a chat, they had a Discord server with like 40 channels, all their utilities, all their team, all these bullish points, all these everything down from day one. And the first thing I told them is that, okay, like that's great, but you realize that if you play all your cards now and you have your complete 100% picture perfect by mint date, what my community platform looks like out there from day one, people are going to get so comfortable and bored of that instantly and lose interest in your platform. There's nothing new to be fed to them, even though that this might be all good in games, all valuable. People thrive off anticipation, speculation, excitement, looking forward to something that is going to evolve in the future. It would have been much wiser to start so lean with your community and your offerings and to add tactfully things into there over time, right? Back to the VC chat. My bad. 1 second. They're going to be bored early. Yeah, 100%. Surprises should be there along the way. Crypto Tank, you share the same brain as me, my friend. Let's go. Give them more than they expected. We take things for granted naturally as a human. How I see it is that a community manager and the founder should start the project off by selling people on that vision, that mission, the why, the values of that community, just these fundamental core truths. And then over time, we start to build things up slowly with add-ons, activations, features. Maybe reveal phase 1 of the whitelist journey. How does that evolve over time? Is there a key flagship event that's happening in 2 weeks? Let's focus things on that. It's okay to change values too, as long as you grow the community. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. And and how I see it is that you grow with the community too. Community gives you feedback. You take that on, you change, you give them something that helps them grow, and it's a feedback loop. Stronger the community, stronger the project vision. One of the other things that I would say is that, and a community manager would be responsible for this too, figuring out who your ideal persona is. For instance, with Surgence, right? We've always been balancing, maybe last year we were balancing really hard between those traders and the professionals. So I'm talking real high level personas, traders and professionals, right? And that split the messaging of a brand so much. And so we never fully resonated with a specific persona at any point, right? It was even to the point where we were getting listed on Alpha Group tier rank lists. Who remembers that? When we were getting on those Alpha Group tier rank lists, we're like, what the fuck? So yeah, and so that's funny because it shows the effect and the unintended effects that bad branding or confusing branding has.
Hey,
Because we
you
were
know
trying to,
what?
yeah.
I want to butt in before you move on. That's how I actually found Surgeons.
Was it the Raise
from my
Labs one
post
or?
that was listed top tier was diamond. I don't remember what it was, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
how I
know
heard
that.
about search
You came
actually.
in and I'm like, damn, this is a scam. There's no alpha in here.
Yeah, and I
That
was
was
like, what
hilarious.
the hell is this? Why is this top tier? No, I'm joking.
That
Ruti,
was
can you check your
hilarious.
DM?
Yeah, I'll check my DM. Oh, nice. Okay, but I'm talking about at the end of the event, after all the
Yeah.
discussions done.
Actually, like the smart thing should be like recording this event, make it text, and include the VC event text too. Like merge them and ask for summary. That can be great.
Mm, mm. Yeah, the event's being recorded, so we can get that. For
But
sure.
like it should be like Ruti was saying this, Mia was saying this. Like it should be like personalized, not like only full on scale text from one
Yeah,
source. It can
yeah,
be very confusing for the AI.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
I'm
We'll
gonna
do it,
think
I
about
said.
I'm gonna think about it. It can be a very useful tool.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, let's do this. So, anything else here? Okay, Najonka has a good point. I think participation, engagement, rewarding the community with access to third-party projects or future assets within the project is probably the number one play because it provides future value like butter. Really curious if people have any cool ideas on how to retain users other than that, or does it always have to be something that has potential monetary value? I say a big component of the space is founded on that potential monetary value because we look at all the whitelists, we look at all the user journeys out there, and everything is pinned to some future allow list that's going to mint or in-game assets that will be useful and probably valuable in the future. That's how they wrap their messaging. Although,
Also, the gamification section of it, the gamification
Mm.
section, making it fun, makes people want to be more engaged. Anything that's fun to
Yeah.
collect and you get a benefit from it, why not?
yeah, I would say that's where you start to tie in, like, let's say, for instance, you had a project that was focused on education and then what you could do to increase retention, a strategy that it might use is like introducing the sense of ownership. Like Nessie said, maybe you attend an event and you get a badge for that. Or you complete a series of events on a specific topic and you get a certification for that.
Do you remember when
ownership-
POAPs were going crazy? Remember when everyone was
Oh,
collecting the
that's good.
POAPs from, but that was really, really smart marketing. And it's the same thing. You use that in a community standpoint. It's really, really clever.
100%.
Ruti, what happened to Stable, man?
So, Cybele,
Yeah, what happened to that?
I've got no idea.
Okay.
See, see, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, I know, I do know, yeah. Something happened, some drama, so we're gonna do it in Surgence.
Okay.
We're gonna onboard. So I've got to chat with you about that and something else actually very soon too. I've
Okay.
got like I need a website feature from you. Also, might have a potential client for you.
Oh,
Someone who's looking to create their own courses and list it on like their own marketplace and their portfolio kind of thing.
nice.
Maybe using Webflow or something. I'm not too sure what you would use for them, but yeah.
We can do it.
All right. I'll have a sexy chat with you soon, Erson.
Oh, I
So
need to get
then-
comfortable.
So then we'll touch on to collaborations as well. But let's imagine that this collabs here is like collabs and partnerships, just generally outreach, right? I might actually pass it to someone here who's managing a project in Surgence Labs at the moment. And a key, like a core part of that project is the collaboration strategy too. Rush, anonymizing the name of the project. Tell us about what you're doing. What and like I'm not just talking about the collaborations, like some of the other things that we're doing that you can speak about.
Sorry, I was actually DMing someone. I wasn't paying attention. What was the question?
Mm.
Name
So, like,
and
you're
what?
at the moment, you're
Yeah,
managing a project, one of our clients through
yeah,
Surgence Labs, and
yeah.
anonymizing that name. So let's keep it out. Um, what are you delivering right now for that? Like the collaborations and outreach strategy? What does that look like for them?
Collaboration,
What are the unique? Yeah, yeah.
outreach strategy, marketing.
Mm,
Um, we give them advice as well on on everything pretty much because they're Web2 based, so they don't they're not necessarily familiar with aspects of Web3. They have a little bit of knowledge, but not a good overall knowledge, if that makes sense.
yeah.
So yeah.
So the project has a very limited supply, and you don't get that many spots to give away. So how are you planning to optimize that as much as possible?
Sorry, I lost you there at the end. It's got
Yeah. So how?
limited supply, yeah.
Yeah. So how do you plan to optimize the allocation of that as much as possible? Like, what's
Well,
your
since
strategy for allocating
supply
that?
is yeah. Since the supply is so small and it's a free mint, um, those are two strong points that you can use in your strategy to secure collabs with giving minimum amount of spots, or
Mm,
even not giving, because uh, in this example we have guaranteed spots and also first come first serve spots. Um,
yeah.
our strategy is to give as much as first come first serve spots as we can to um, secure collabs, and only give guaranteed spots for big KOLs and MIAs, influencers doing threads and such. So we're trying to use those spots as the best as we can to bring eyes on the project.
Mm. Cool, cool. Okay, beautiful. So yeah, I mean, your outreach strategy would differ depending on your client, what industry niche they're in, what their product is, and who their ideal audience is. Like the strategy that you might use for an IP
Yes,
company would be different to a gaming company. Mm.
yes, exactly. Because this is a gaming project. So our goal here mainly is to get the gaming projects, collabs with gaming projects, get eyes from gamers and gaming projects on this project. So we have more like the niche that we want, the people that we want these NFTs to go to, that might actually like play the game and use those NFTs in their benefit when the game is out.
Mm, mm. Beautiful. So I mean, there's some people out here in this VC that might be working on a gaming project, and there's like little nuances that you might twist into your collaborations and outreach strategy for that project. For example, might you try to partner up with game launchers to get the game awareness through their web traffic? Might you try to partner up with guilds and DAOs and do something deeper, such as getting gamers from there? Um, who might you put together a gaming competition that involves communities, and how does that work? What does a game mechanic look like? The scores and the rewards and the incentives. So it's a bit deeper, right? And you can take your collab and outreach strategy as deep as you want. Gone are the days of your simple alphabet collabs. Like if you do that, I'm not too sure what to say to you. But here are the days of getting creative with what kind of journey and experience you want to, architect for your outreach strategy. And then you've got your partnerships too. And so on the operations side, it's outreaching to your communities and companies to get them involved in whatever you want them to get involved in, the program, the collaboration. You get your KOLs to rate the socials as well. And then you've got this database that you got to maintain every day of your outreaches, etc. The metrics that you might be tracked on again is your audience that you bring in, the engagement on the socials maybe, as well as the quality of the wallets that you might be roping in through the collaborations and partnerships that you've got. Are the wallets holding gaming assets? Are the wallets holding enough ETH, et cetera, et cetera? And actually, these things are very easy to get nowadays with existing tools. Or the Surgence WalletWise tool. Ha ha ha. Okay. Let me move on to the next one. Before I do that, let me just check the event VC chat. Whitelist are everywhere. There are too many. 100%. I love the way you position that, Nessie. Alphabot filled a hole but created a different problem. Yep, which is the oversaturation. The ease of collaborations created the lack of diversity or uniqueness in the ways people engage with each other too, which is why like Alphabot is great. Maybe for some communities if you're really desperate for engagement. But what's more important is the depth of collaboration that you can get to stand out, because you're not going to onboard really any members from collaborations anymore. Like these people are going to follow in, immediately leave the Discord to just focus on the set of tasks that they're going to complete to get that whitelist, and that's it, right? Maybe if you set up an effective strategy to onboard these members and actually retain them, that's cool. But more than often, like you probably really want to set up a quality based collaboration strategy to onboard members into your community, and that probably falls under doing something deeper than just a collaboration. AMAs, competitions, partnerships, early utility access, whatever it is, and then targeting the right audience too. Read the chat. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even talking about like your typical poker sessions. I'm saying like there's a project out there called Kung Fu Verse, or a game out there called Cody Fight, or even imaginary ones. How they set up the custom bespoke imaginary rides game and gave the opportunity for communities to participate in that. That was dope. I'm talking about like those deeper gaming experience collaborations. But yeah, there's going to be projects out there that don't have the budget or the resources to set up a game. So then how else can you create an experience like that? Collaborations with communities. You get a lot of value from that. 98% of Web3 is a flipper, 99.9% of Alphabot winners. Jonka, I wish I could tell you, but I think they are in this period where they are not looking to mint anytime soon and just create experiences, which is why they had the Kung Fu Crane game going. Okay. Dope. Dope. By the way, just before we move on to strategy, I'd love for anyone in here to make a tweet about the event that you're in. Like, take a screenshot if you want of the event, the attendance. Get it out there, tag Surgence, and we'll retweet it from the main account. Let's let people know of the value that goes on in here. And then for the people that get retweeted, everyone follow each other as well. Drop your Twitters, follow each other. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. Oh, is there a cool call to action I can say? Okay, go to the builders channel and write out 2 sentences. Okay, what you want to specialize in, and then where you are at in your professional journey. Whether you're at the beginning looking for your first experience, you're relatively experienced and you're jumping between jobs, or if you're at the peak of that role, you're comfy in a job right now, getting that the pay you desire, and you're looking to build something else now.
Web 2 or
So
Web 3 would be?
I mean, you can do both if you want, Nessie. You can do both if you want. I mean, you should do both because your Web 2 skills and experiences are also very valuable in Web 3. I mean, I just want to have a workshop session with you, Nancy, to be honest. Over a brewery beer.
Anytime you want, dear. Anytime. Just make it happen.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'll have to hit you up on a weekend and I can go over to that. What's it called? Ash's Brewery?
Akasha.
Start
But
learning.
yeah,
Okay,
Akasha.
there we
We'll
go.
get you there. Don't worry. All good.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about strategy. Talk about that.
Did we just lose Ruthie?
No, I'm just it's hilarious. I'm just trying to solve something in the DMs at the same time. Okay, so let's do this, right? Let's talk about strategy. So who here has had experience advising or doing strategies for projects and companies in the past? Say I. Say I. Or say your Discord name.
In
Say
Web
that.
3 or Web 2?
You can do both, Web 2 or Web 3.
I did it in Web 2 for coffee
Yeah,
businesses.
yeah, coffee business, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there
Okay, so
was a
for those
company.
people,
Yo, go ahead. Okay.
yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. There was a company in Doha, in Qatar. They were starting a roastery, but there are thousands of them there right now. So they need to create a like difference to get more customers. And
Yeah.
we came up with a concept with a shooting range for air rifles plus coffee. So if you shoot all of the targets with your like ammo, you get free coffee. Like it's like a game and coffee combined thing, you know. So it brings lots of people in because it's not only just coffee. Because there was like hundreds and thousands of coffee shops already doing the same shit, you know. So we try to put a gaming like angle in it. So it brings lots of customers like that.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. So I'm going to ask everyone a question here. Write down your interpretation, your understanding of strategy. Like, what is that fucking buzzword? What does that mean to you? And then I'm going to tell you my interpretation and use Erskine's example there. What does strategy mean to you in that buzzword? Because I asked you all, who's doing strategy right now? And everyone said, me. Beautiful work with that, Shub. 1.3 ETH all-time high, just 2 months. That's amazing. You should do a session on that. Beautiful, Nessie. Plan of action to achieve a long-term vision, 100%. Oh, shit. You said exactly what I was going to say, pretty much. Strategy means getting the goal in the right way. Yeah. The right goal in the right way. To make people so curious about what you do, I find they can. Yeah. So I'm going to break this down my way, and then Nessie can probably jump in as well because she's an expert at strategy. Let's look at this, right? If you get brought on as an advisor, some sort of strategic role, and to be honest, whether you're a marketer, community manager, whatever it is, you will have a strategic role in the company. There will be a company strategy there. There might be a few, there might be one. And as Nessie said, there's that long-term vision, there's that long-term aim, there's some sort of outcome that the strategy points towards. The strategy is comprised of two parts, the outcome and how to get there, your plan of action. So, strat is sorting out plans. Yeah, 100%. Okay, cool. So, what you'll find is that perhaps there might be a community building strategy that is focused on creating a cohesive community of 100 super users. Like you want this core community of 100 people set up, and you need to find any way to get there. Because if you get 100 super users, it means you've done something right, and you can probably replicate that to the next 100 or 1,000. So create 100 super users through your community management strategies. And you need to figure out then, okay, your plan of attack to get there. And there's going to be the team that is going to aim for that will be also of multiple disciplines. You might have your community managers there, then your marketers as well, because marketers play a huge role in community building too. Then your core team, your founders, how they're going to be involved. There's just going to be this exhaustive plan of all these teams and components and how they're going to work together to achieve that goal. And then when you put that plan into action, how is it going to be measured? And based on those responses, that qualitative and quantitative data that you collect, how can you tweak and iterate on this strategy to improve it over time as well, so that you achieve that outcome that you set out for? But I'll let Nessie expand on it a bit more, because I'm going to put you on the spot there, Nessie. I know you're a strategic head.
Thanks, Dal.
Watching, waiting, pivoting, and never actually mincing it. Hey, and there's that never-ending problem as well. Like I remember hearing it a lot in my previous workplaces. People do too much strategy, not enough operations, like execution, tactical stuff. You can't have too many strategic heads in the room, otherwise no one's actually going to be doing things. But anyways, Nessie, you'll go.
Oh, thanks. No, it has to be both. You have to outline specific ways your organization plans to position itself. So you need to be super clear on what your vision is, what your vision's looking at, what's your aim, what's your revenue, what you're trying to bring in. Be super specific about what your goals are. Break your goals down too, and then you put a strategy against each one. Okay, we're going to do this. How do I do this? I enable this person to deliver this. I take this person and use their skill set to deliver that. Pulling the right people with the right skill sets, putting them all in a room together, that is the way you're going to deliver a project. But you need to be super smart on what your goals are. If you don't have your goals together, it means nothing. Your strategy is enabling you to deliver those.
100%. So,
Just
I
a
mean,
top.
in strategy,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone who wants to pick Nessie's brain, I recommend you do it and just absolutely flood her DMs and take her to I was joking, I was joking. Be respectful, be respectful. But I love your input, Nessie. I can't wait till our brewski session. Knowing when to act and not to act is a certain skill.
I'm already in her
Yeah.
DMs since yesterday. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, so that's how it's gonna be, man. So when we're talking about strategy, and maybe you're coming into an advisor position, there's going to be a few things that you could be responsible for. Let's say, for example, the user journey. Maybe the strategic goal is to create a user journey that achieves retention. So how are you going to map that user journey out? How does each team play into that? It could be the NFT integration. Maybe you have this gaming company moving into Web3 and they're contemplating using an NFT in their ecosystem. How is that NFT actually integrated into that ecosystem? Is it an in-game asset? Is it a season pass? Is it a collectible for boosted rewards in the game? What is that? And how does it integrate into it? And why do we choose that path? Does it achieve the goals that yep.
There's also there's a 5 Ps as well. If you want something that's super easy to remember, I learned this really early on in my corporate world. There's 5 Ps connected to it. There's like, how do you plan on it? How do you deploy it? So ploy is a thing. But then what is the pattern against it? What are you trying to like position against? And then what's the perspective? What's the user perspective at the end? You get all of those bits right, like all the Ps, then you're kind of covered your main base.
Yeah. I love
Does
that.
that help?
Does that help everyone? Do you like that? Do you love that? Are you falling in love with it? Beautiful. Next level, Nancy. I'm in love. Can I borrow your
No.
brain? They said.
Not at all. Like, you guys have got this. Surgence has got it all covered. I'm just here helping out.
No, you're everyone's fave now. Everyone's gonna onboard you as their advisor to their project. We've got launch strategy as well. You might have people out there that call themselves launch strategic experts. They understand how to drum up the biggest amount of noise that brands want when they enter the space. So then, like, let's say, for example, NFT Boy, who marketed himself well as a launch strategist earlier back in the space, it would include everything about, okay, there's a company coming in, they want to get audience, community engagement real quick. How do we do that effectively? How do we make that sustainable as well? There's brand positioning too. So you might have like this brand strategy where what are some strategic outcomes of branding? For example, one of them could be that in the long term, you send out a form to your community members, and you collect feedback on what they think the brand means to them, what they think you're out and set to build for, what mission, what person you're trying to appeal to, that target audience, and the problems that you set to solve, etc. You can ask these questions to see what people's perceptions and understanding of your brand are, and how close or how far off the ideal place you want to be. Actually, today I was also considering sending out a form to the Surgence community. I was going to send out a form and say, okay, here are some of the things that we've got going on. The events, the networking, the collaborations, the alpha, this, that. Rate the usefulness of the value that you get out of this from 1 to 10. Rate them in priority of what you believe is the most valuable to you and the least. Because I'm looking to do some restructuring around the community. So that ties into the utilities too, and then be the connector as well. One of the core things that you're going to be dependent on when you come into these companies and start doing work for them is that they'll start requiring new hires like community managers, maybe graphic designers and studios, game developers, web developers, whatever it is. And as someone coming in a strategic or advisory role, you should have a sufficient network set up with plenty of different agencies or developers and very specialized roles so that you can be the connector between the team that you're working with and all these different people. Okay. Let me check it out. If Sketch is here, always consider it being recorded, 100% Neon. All this hype we're seeing is, I think, a drama of a space is just how these projects and brands handle and utilize these dramas. Okay, everyone, it's been like an hour and 20 minutes. So I think I'm going to wrap this event up now. But yeah, cool. If there's any questions that y'all have, feel free to voice up or drop something in the chat. Otherwise, there are a few events coming up. So there's one with Esteemed talking about getting your first client. And there's actually an event tomorrow as well, branding for Yumi with the Canva crew. And I think, is that with you, Mia? I think that's with Mia.
Yeah, so we
Mia is taking it.
yeah, so
Sweet.
every week the Canva crew is going to pop into a call into a VC, and we'll pick one out of the Surgence fam to create a branding for them. So we're gonna do that every week.
Beautiful. Okay. I'm so excited to see that. Maybe you can do mine. I need a rebrand ASAP. Okay. Let me just check the chat, see if any questions. Okay, now I want everyone to go through that builders channel, see what everyone said, and connect with each other. You know, like open up each other's profile, follow each other, connect with each other, learn from each
I
other.
forgot to do it.
Someone
Whoops.
says, yeah, it's all right. If you forgot to do it, you still got time. Go in there, see what people are saying, and then maybe you see a fellow marketer out there or whatever it is. Try and get connected with them. Ooh, maybe you can share ideas of how you market together. Share templates that you use, etc., etc. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for the session today. I'm going to have a drink of water and relax a bit. If anyone plays Wild Rift here, DM me ASAP as well, because I'm looking for Wild Rift experts to play with.
Good job, Ruthie.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's do it.
Thank you, Rudy.
Well, drip,
Happy,
man.
Eddie. I appreciate it all. Oh, and by the way, I have an event on Friday, and that's going to have a lot more meat to it, so get keen for that. Ha ha ha, Ruthie. WR Wilder. We'll play later tonight. All right, I'll ping you guys when we play. Lupin and Joseph, you guys down? Okay, I'll make sure to ping you guys later.
Sure.
I appreciate it all. And remember, everyone, if you're looking to be there's a couple of types of people in this space, right? You could classify yourself as an operator, or you could classify yourself as a founder. For those operators here in the space, and if you're feeling like your progress is stagnant or you're feeling a bit lost, I would say that maybe you don't quite clearly understand what your reason for being is, your ikigai or whatever you want to call it. So take some time to think about what you love and what you're good at, and find an intersection with that and how it aligns with business needs at the moment, and specialize in it. Don't try to juggle all the hats, because then your personal brand messaging will be very confusing and generalist, and then you might not get picked for anything. And also your development in each of these roles will be very shallow, because you're not fully committing to one field and specializing in that. That being said, it's really good to have a general understanding of all the roles out there. But even better is to have that as a foundation for being a well-rounded builder, but then specializing in something that you're passionate about. If you have experience around community, collabs, and marketing and whatever now, then now's the time to pick one and dive deep into it, because that's how you'll probably unlock that stagnation that you're in right now. So definitely, if anyone has any questions about there, are still trying to find their calling, their purpose, whatever it is, let me know. Send it in the chat. We can discuss. There's plenty of different people out here that can help as well. But really appreciate it, guys. And we're going to make it. We're going to make it. Show up, show out. We're going to make it. I'll catch you all later. Oh, by the way, check out my how clean my background is now. Wait, let's take it. Bing.
So neat.
Bruh.
Oh wait, I gotta get rid of this one.
Bro.
Okay, there we go.
Wow.
My desktop is like currently spilling over to the second monitor, bro.
I got so sick of everything. I was like, I just need a clean space, man.
That looks neat.
My
Very
desktop has nothing on it. I like it clean. And Ruthie, I'm liking the fact you've got color somewhere.
So for those of people that are not picking up on that inside joke there, I actually have my phone set to grayscale. So my phone is black and white. There's no color on my phone.
That's weirdo.
Energy
Nessie
saving.
thinks
It's a smart move.
well, Nessie thinks I'm a weirdo for that. It's not for energy saving. It's actually because I was getting too distracted by my phone, and if it's on grayscale, I'm less distracted. I'm not colorblind. No, I was just procrastinating too much on my phone, and then I decided to go
I think
grayscale.
everyone thinks you're a weirdo, mate.
Oh,
But hey,
Ruthie said goodbye, 99 goodbyes in just 5 minutes. You guys are too hard to say goodbye to.
All right, I'm heading off. Laters, guys.
Okay,
Later.
I'll catch you
See
later.
ya.
We'll see you soon. Keep in touch. Let's play Wild Rift. Let's have fun. See you
Just
later.
ping me, bro.
See you later.
See you later. Just ping me.
Thanks, mate.
Just
Bye.
leave already.
Oh, Esteem, are you starting your event now, or do you want to do it later?